Pat Riley, one of the best coaches ever, and Shaquille O'Neal, one of the best players ever, won a title together in Miami in 2006. When great meets great, the results are great. Simple as that. Whoa, gross. What's going on? Why does South Beach reek all of a sudden? Ah, 'cause of bad beef. This is an important announcement from Secret Base. We have a Patreon now. It's awesome, and something new drops every week. This concludes the important announcement. It's actually kind of surprising that Shaq ever ended up in Miami under Pat Riley, because the coach had a practice till you puke mindset, and Shaq did not. Plus, going all the way back to Shaq's rookie year, the two really didn't seem to like each other. The backboard-shattering Orlando rookie was voted to be a starter in the 1993 All-Star Game. The venerated, well-dressed Knicks coach was named Coach of the Eastern All-Stars, and he was pretty pissed his center wasn't a starter. Patrick Ewing was a legend of the game, and Riley thought he should be treated as such. Which is fair to an extent, you want to support your guy, but it's also a little bit silly because, one, the fans vote for the starters. It's just a popularity contest, which Shaq dominated. And two, Shaq the rookie was very all-star starter-esque. If those numbers aren't proof enough, how about this? ESPN aired an hour-long special called Shaq's Sudden Impact in the winter of his rookie year. I mean, really, Pat Riley was mad at the fans and the media puffing Shaq up and not respecting Ewing enough. But he kinda took it out on young Shaq. He played O'Neal and Ewing an even 25 minutes each, and went with his guy down the stretch. It was a close game, too. O'Neal was diplomatic and understanding throughout, though I'm not sure that's how he really felt, because 2 seasons later, he referred to the benching as Pat Riley jigging him good with a shank. And according to his book, Shaq Uncut, published nearly a decade later, the snub always bothered him. There was one other beefy bit early in Shaq's career. It stemmed from a budding intrastate rivalry between the Magic and the Heat. Riley started coaching the Heat in '95 and sort of used Orlando as a metric to measure his team against. And in a preseason game between the two Florida teams, Matt Geiger fouled Shaq so hard he destroyed O'Neal's thumb. And I'm sorry for the graphic quote, but I want to impress upon you how hard Geiger hit Shaq. O'Neal missed 22 games and was angry, as you'd expect, but not at Geiger. This was Pat Riley's fault. His teams don't play D, they just hack away. Now, this wasn't an opinion unique to O'Neal, it was a common critique of the coach, but this was a loud, attention-grabbing, well-liked voice leveling the critique. Word was Shaq loathed Pat Riley. Perhaps, in part, because, in the wake of the injury, Riley didn't seem particularly apologetic. Nor did Geiger, whose lack of remorse was also attributed to his coach. And once Shaq blamed him, Riley got more aggressive. He called Shaq ridiculous and claimed the big man was just trying to get more calls from refs, a tactic Riley considered unconscionable. I'd argue that ripping someone's thumb apart to save a layup is unconscionable, but whatever, not my fight. This back and forth led Shaq to declare war in the Panhandle State. The Orlando-Miami rivalry was in full force. See? But at the end of that season, Shaq headed to LA and the beef hit the cooler. The Lakers played the Heat twice a year, and Shaq didn't really talk about Pat Riley anymore. He had a lot going on. Riley was busy too, or actually maybe a little less busy because Miami became so bad he quit coaching to just be the team's president, but losing takes time too. And then, in 2004, the beef hit the trash compactor. The big man was ready to leave LA, and they were ready to part with him, and Miami was on his wish list. The top of his wish list, actually. Broken thumbs be bygones.
Okay, you want to trade me, but I'm going to Miami. No, it ain't gonna work like that. I'm going to Miami.
And Pat Riley said, Shaq, grab my hand and pull me out of basketball hell and into the playoffs. Now, despite all of Riley's praise, Shaq had been experiencing quite a bit of negative press at this point in his career. I mean, he was still very good, but he didn't strike fear in his opponents like he once did. The Lakers were coming off a finals loss, and his own assistant coach questioned his effort and desire. Fat and lazy were descriptors that had started to swirl around Shaq, which actually could have been a portent of the beef ahead. Mainly because Pat Riley was a super strict executive who monitored his players' body fat percentage. More than monitored, he fined players for exceeding specific body fat requirements. Toxic. And also, was the laid-back, 12-year veteran, 3-time champion giant going to tolerate that sort of micromanaging all up in his business? Actually, yeah. He didn't love it, he didn't think it was good for him, but he did it. By the end of his first year in Miami, he'd dropped so much weight and fat, you'd think he'd had a couple tapeworms. Unfortunately, the Heat fell short of the finals that year. There was some bad blood with coach Stan Van Gundy, and after a few too many losses in the start of the 05-06 season, Pat Riley said, "Fine, I'll do it." This again could portend beef. Riley's coaching reputation was all business, all conditioning, and Shaq never thought he could play for him. So, could he? Yeah, in part because Riley yielded a bit to the big man. At O'Neal's request/imploring, he dropped the team curfew and pushed practices back till noon. Now, the coach still had his usual flair, but Shaq dropped enough weight to stay on Riley's good side. These guys were respecting each other, making compromises for each other, and winning games. That's not beef. That's not beef at all. They're dancing together. In the 06-07 season, the Heat did not defend their title, were out in the first round of the playoffs. Pat Riley said they deserved to be out that early, while heavily implying Shaq didn't give enough effort throughout the season. Now we're eating. Right after being swept in the first round, Riley blamed the pervasive attitude among vets that they could coast until the postseason. It wasn't a mystery which vet he was talking about. Miami insiders, whoever they may be, claimed O'Neal told other players to slack on D so it wouldn't be so obvious he himself wasn't trying. And Riley suggested the possibility of Shaq returning half his salary if he was only going to put forth effort for half a season. The following season started even worse. Shaq was averaging a career low, only getting about 10 shots a game, and he believed that was Riley's fault for not putting talent around him. Riley wanted Shaq to try harder, to be a leader. Shaq allegedly responded by asking for something to lead. Just before Christmas, O'Neal injured his hip diving for a loose ball. It was a lingering and mysterious injury. MRIs and X-rays didn't provide clues. He'd play a few games, then sit a few games. The unhealable injury was a point of friction between coach and player. Then, in February 08, there was an incident. Jason Williams arrived a tiny bit late to practice. Pat Riley kicked him out of practice for that offense. Shaq defended his point guard, so Riley kicked Shaq out of practice. Shaq objected, in a way that made his teammates think he might literally kill Pat Riley via blunt force trauma. Alonzo Mourning and Udonis Haslem tried to hold O'Neal back, but that didn't work. And Riley was so angry, he wasn't backing his old ass down. Shaq finally relented, and no one was involuntarily manslaughtered. Practice was canceled for the day. The following day, Shaq was traded to Phoenix, where he recovered from injury and was playing more minutes and better minutes, which led the Heat to be like, well, look who's all healed up now that he's off a losing team. O'Neal heard from multiple sources that Riley was telling everyone he was faking his hip injury. He thought Riley was trying to spin the story and blame Miami's woes on him and him alone. O'Neal credited his mini Phoenix resurgence to two things. First, being on a team that was coached and managed better. Now he had good players around him. He did choose to express that sentiment in an insensitive way. Quinn and Davis were collateral damage in this swipe at Riley. The other reason he could play better, the Suns trainers fixed his hip, something the Heat trainers couldn't do. This seems like kind of gentle criticism, considering the guy was kind of pissed at the Heat trainers. Pat Riley does not agree with me. He characterized O'Neal's comments as stabs in the back, taking particular umbrage at the critique of his trainers. The Miami press called Shaq a whiner and ran with a narrative that talking trash about former teams was O'Neal's MO. Riley furthered this narrative, claiming he had to shut down Shaq's LA complaints when Miami first acquired him. But you know what they say, time heals all wounds. The beef faded once the two were rid of each other. Shaq's career wound down and he retired in 2011. Riley stepped away from coaching to be solely the Heat's president again in 2008, and that worked out pretty well. In February of 2016, the Heat announced they'd be retiring O'Neal's jersey, and that was evidence enough that Riley, still team president, had moved on and forgiven the center of his '06 championship team. Local press still seemed a bit pissed, though. In September of that same year, O'Neal was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he spoke about his former coach without a whiff of beef. They might as well have been dancing together on a parade float again. Seems a championship season that turned around both a hell-dwelling franchise and a fat, lazy star looms larger than some spitting and sniping and losing and fake injury accusing. Perhaps the saying should be time and a title under the belt heals all wounds. And if not, you could always get a Suns trainer on it. Thank you to our Patreons, and thanks to everyone for watching and listening and laughing and living and loving. Keep it up. For Secret Base, I'm Clara Morris. Good night and good game.